If you are suffering from anxiety symptoms or panic attacks ever since the first time it showed up, I bet you have no clue why. But by the end of this video, you will. In fact, by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why your next panic attack is your unique opportunity to start healing. We'll cover these 3 things: how your body handles stress and anxiety, why you probably got your first panic attack or your first anxiety symptoms, and 3, how to use your next panic attack as an opportunity to start healing. And let me do that by introducing the stress bucket. The stress bucket is this analogy that I have to basically explain how your body handles stress and why we keep having anxiety symptoms, whether that's panic attacks, whether that's intrusive thoughts, derealization, depersonalization, physical sensations like heart palpitations or excessive sweating or whatever. Why these things happen and why they keep happening and why we feel like we're getting more and more stuck instead of better. So the stress bucket is, imagine there's this bucket inside your body that handles all stress. Right? That stress goes in like financial worries, time stress, exercising, fighting panic, having panic, fearing panic or whatever, or anxiety. And we drain this stress bucket naturally when we relax, when we socialize, when we exercise, when we do certain things like meditation or yoga, right? What if we don't have the opportunity any longer to drain it as fast as it fills up? Maybe it fills up because of some life stresses that are happening to you or happen to you. And in those cases, the bucket fills up quicker than we have the option, the ability to drain it. What happens is it starts to spill over. Your stress bucket starts to spill over. And when it does, you get symptoms. It spills over in the form of symptoms, which could be physical sensations, anxious thought, anxious feelings, these symptoms of stress. And what do? What difference us from people who have this experience of their stress bucket overflowing and it be just a one-time occasion? What difference us from them is that we start to resist these symptoms. We're so freaked out about these symptoms because often they're very intense, very unexpected. They resemble other things. It could feel like you're having a heart attack, for example. And we start to naturally resist these symptoms. We don't want to feel it. We're afraid of it. It has to go away, which is really natural. But what does this resistance actually do? It fills up our stress bucket once again. So instead of the stress leaving your bucket, it actually overflows, but then goes right back in. So the stress bucket never gets the chance to empty itself. And that's why you stay on edge. That's why you get more symptoms, more panic attacks, more unpleasant anxiety symptoms or intrusive thoughts or derealization, in whatever form it shows up for you. Think about your first panic attack or your first time experiencing these scary anxiety symptoms, and think about if there was anything going on in your life that could potentially have caused this stress bucket to overflow. In my case, I was grieving, I was working way too much, and my lifestyle was just not very healthy, and that just filled up my stress bucket until it couldn't drain itself naturally and it had to spill over. In which case I had a full-blown big panic attack, and I basically kept the bucket full for the 6 years after that. What was something for you that could have led to this stress bucket overflowing? It could be, as I said, grief. It could be a divorce. It could be financial stress. It could be anything else that filled up your stress bucket until it overflowed and you got these symptoms that you then resisted and panicked over, getting more and more stress back into that bucket. So again, the bucket doesn't have any chance to drain itself. Though it might be helpful to identify what stresses caused your stress bucket to overflow in the first place, leading up to potentially a panic attack or this anxiety disorder that you're in right now, it's a common mistake that people start to look in their past and dig for this life stressor, this cause, to then solve that in the hopes that anxiety then disappears. But that's not the case, because as you see now, it's in our response to these symptoms, to whenever the stress bucket overflows, whether or not we add stress right back into the bucket. So it's our job to respond in a different way so that our stress bucket has the ability to drain itself anytime you feel anxiety symptoms. Because here's what happens right now. Here's what the nervous system does. Your nervous system is always looking. It sees you get anxiety symptoms. It watches your stress bucket overflow. You get these symptoms, right? And you respond in a way that says, oh, wait, no, these symptoms have to go away. This stress bucket cannot overflow. It's dangerous. It's scary. I don't want to feel this. I want to feel good. And your nervous system is watching. And he says, I got you, brother. And he tries to help you because you're saying this is dangerous. So he will help you by giving you more adrenaline to fight these anxiety symptoms, right? And this makes the anxiety symptoms grow and grow until you change that response and you respond correctly while your nervous system is watching. Doing that over and over and over allows your stress bucket to drain and gives you yourself and your stress bucket the proof that you can handle it, so it can start to let go. What happens if you learned how to respond correctly and applied that in your next moment of panic or anxiety? So this is what we currently do. We feel the symptoms of the stress bucket overflowing, like heart palpitations, dizziness, wobbly legs, and we resist it, adding more stress right back in so it overflows again the next time. This is why you keep having these symptoms maybe every single day. What happens if we respond correctly? What if we allowed these symptoms to be? Then the symptoms, the stress that releases, evaporates, and no new stress gets added back in. So two things happen. You often, not always, but often you get relief in the moment when you allow these symptoms to be. So instead of it getting worse, you get quicker relief when you apply the right response. And two, it shows your nervous system that you're safe, that you're healing, right? It's watching you surfing those waves, and it's proof that it can let go. It doesn't have to help you by giving you more of these symptoms all the time, right? And what you see happen is that your stress bucket starts to drain with no new stress going right back in. Because whatever you resist persists, and what you allow will dissipate naturally. And this is how you empty your stress bucket, so you're not on edge all the time, so you don't have all these symptoms all the time. So a lot of negative thoughts that you now may worry is your character start to disappear. I was so pessimistic back when my stress bucket was full all the time, and I thought that was just who I was. But once I started to respond correctly, and once my stress bucket finally had the chance to empty itself, all of these weird thoughts, all of these pessimistic thoughts start to disappear, and I'm in general a way more calm, happier, and optimistic person than I was when my stress bucket was full, which makes total sense if you think about it. So start today by practicing to allow panic to rise, die down, and fade naturally, just like a wave. Remind yourself the next time during a panic attack or when you feel or fear symptoms of anxiety that it's just your stress bucket that's overflowing. And see, when you remind yourself of that and you try to allow it to be, see what happens. So check out my other videos if you want to learn more on how to respond correctly. And if you want, please like this video, share this video, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.